Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling a big one, really digging into a major player in the family SUV world, the brand new Chevrolet Traverse for 2026.
That's right.
This isn't just a minor refresh. We're talking a pretty fundamental overhaul here. They're trying to blend, huge utility with premium features, but they've also switched up the engine.
Exactly. And that's the core tension we need to explore.
So our mission today, break it all down for you, figure out if this redesign hits the mark, and, well, if the choices they made were the right ones for the typical buyer.
Yeah, the Traverse is stepping back into a really crowded field. I mean, three-row SUVs are everywhere. Chevy seems to be betting on sheer size, loads of tech, and maybe surprising power to stand out.
Right.
And the sources we've looked at give us a pretty clear picture of GM's thinking. It looks like they want to deliver on luxury and performance without going hybrid, which is interesting given where the competition is heading.
That's a key point.
Yeah.
We definitely need to unpack that trade-off.
Absolutely.
And that trade-off, it really starts under the hood, doesn't it? You've got this massive vehicle. It can seat up to 8 people, but Chevy's dropped the V6.
Yep, gone.
Okay, so let's unpack that. The new standard engine is a 2.5-liter turbo 4-cylinder. Now, first reaction might be skepticism. Putting a smaller boosted engine in such a large SUV, is that just about trying to meet emissions or fuel economy targets, or maybe prepping for electrification later?
Well, it's definitely a strategic play. It seems focused on packaging, yes, but also on getting the most power out of a smaller displacement.
Yeah.
Maximizing power density. While others are pushing hybrids hard, GM seems to be, let's say, refining internal combustion for now. But here's the crucial bit. This isn't some underpowered four-banger.
Okay.
It puts out a pretty substantial 328 horsepower and 326 pound-feet of torque.
Right, which is actually more than the old V6, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So on paper, you're not losing power. In fact, you're gaining a bit.
328 horsepower from a turbo 4? I mean, that sounds great theoretically, but you have to wonder, don't you, about the long-term stress on an engine like that, especially in a heavy vehicle, maybe loaded up with people and gear.
That's definitely a fair point, something potential buyers will weigh. But the transmission plays a big role here. It's paired with a pretty smooth 8-speed automatic.
Okay.
That helps manage the power delivery, keeps it feeling, consistent, and you get the choice. Standard front-wheel drive or optional all-wheel drive if you need it.
And performance.
Yeah.
How quick is it for something this big?
Sources are estimating 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, so about 0 to 60 miles per hour, in around 7 seconds flat. Which, honestly, for a vehicle of this size is genuinely quite quick. It holds its own against competitors.
Okay, so it's got the go. But speed isn't everything in a family hauler. Comfort is huge. How does it handle bumps, highway driving?
Ride quality is traditionally a Traverse strength, and that seems to continue. It uses an independent McPherson strut setup at the front, and crucially, a multi-link suspension in the rear.
Which means, for the average driver,
Basically, unlike simpler setups, the multi-link allows each rear wheel to react independently to bumps. So it does a much better job soaking up imperfections. Less vibration, less bounce, especially for those in the back rows. Makes long trips much more comfortable.
right, keeps the ride smoother, quieter.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And that solid chassis is probably even more important if you opt for that more rugged version, the Z71.
Exactly. The Z71 isn't just stickers and badges. It's aimed squarely at buyers who want a bit more adventure capability.
So what does it actually get you?
You get specific suspension tuning, different dampers for better off-road control, actual underbody protection skid plates, and importantly, an upgraded twin-clutch all-wheel drive system.
Twin clutch, how's that different?
It allows for more precise power distribution side to side at the rear axle, which really helps in low traction situations. Plus, you get terrain modes, hill descent control, and critically better approach and departure angles than the standard models.
Ah, so it can actually climb over obstacles better.
Yes, those geometry changes are key for real off-road use, not just looking the part with all-terrain tires. It provides genuine, usable capability beyond a gravel road.
Okay, so the platform seems solid, power's there. Let's move inside. Because this is where families spend their time, right? And it sounds like Chevy went big on the tech.
Oh, they really did. The interior is dominated by screens. It's quite dramatic when you first see it. Easily puts it near the top of the class in terms of digital real estate.
Tell me about them.
You've got this massive central infotainment touchscreen, 17.7 inches. Huge. And then the driver gets a fully digital 11-inch display as well.
Wow, 17.7 inches.
Yeah.
That's almost tablet size, mounted right there. That sounds visually impressive, sure, But does it create any issues, like glare in sunlight? Or is it maybe distracting?
That's a valid point some reviews have raised. Managing that much screen real estate takes good software design. But the system itself is pretty capable. It has Google built in, native Google Maps, Google Assistant for voice commands, Google Play Store apps. Plus, you get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto standard across the board.
Okay, so connectivity is covered.
Definitely. And higher trims get things like a nice 12-speaker Bose audio system to fill up that big space.
So front passengers are definitely sorted for tech. But what about the rest of the family? How's the space and comfort in rows 2 and 3?
Space is really the Traverse's calling card. It's properly large inside. You can get configurations for 7 or 8 passengers, and it feels genuinely roomy.
And amenities for them.
Yeah, multi-zone climate control, nice ambient lighting options, and crucially for keeping everyone happy on road trips. USB-C ports spread throughout all 3 rows, plus a wireless charging pad up front.
That's essential these days. And if you really want to step up the luxury, there's the high country trim, right?
Yeah.
What does that add?
The High Country is definitely aiming for that premium feel. You get things like heated and ventilated front seats, nicer leather upholstery, more soft-touch materials, and some unique styling bits like bronze stitching. It helps address some critiques about plastics in lower trims.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Now, the absolute make-or-break metric for many families buying in this class, cargo space.
Yeah.
I mean the numbers.
Right, and this is where the Traverse really shines. It's arguably the cargo king, or close to it.
Yeah.
Even with all 3 rows of seats up, you still get a very usable 651 liters behind the 3rd row.
Which is enough for it.
Enough for a big grocery run, a couple of strollers, day-to-day stuff, but the real story is when you start folding seats.
Okay.
Fold the 2nd and 3rd rows flat, and you open up almost 2,350 liters of space. That is massive. It puts it right at the top of the segment for sheer volume.
2,350 liters. That's huge. But how easy is it to actually use that space? Are the seats awkward to fold?
That's a great question. And based on what we're seeing, the design seems pretty user-friendly here. The seats fold flat easily, creating a nice, long, level load floor. So that big number isn't just theoretical. It's actually very practical for hauling bulky items.
Okay, that's a major plus.
Yeah.
Before we get to the downsides, the trade-offs, safety has to be top of mind for a family vehicle.
Absolutely critical. And the Traverse seems well equipped here. Based on the platform and initial data, it's expected to perform very well. It already secured a 5-star overall safety rating from NHTSA, that's the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Top rating.
The top rating. And it also got a top safety pick designation from the IIHS, the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety.
So good crash test performance. What about the standard safety tech? What does every buyer get?
Every single Traverse gets a solid suite. We're talking 8 airbags covering all rows, standard automatic emergency braking, including pedestrian detection, blind zone monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, lane keep assist, and an HD rear vision camera. Pretty comprehensive base package.
That's good. And what about more advanced driver assist features?
That's where Super Cruise comes in. It's available on the higher trims, the RS, and High Country.
And Super Cruise is? Remind us.
It's GM's hands-free driving system, not just adaptive cruise, but genuine hands-off driving on compatible pre-mapped highways. It's considered one of the better systems out there right now.
Okay, so advanced tech is available if you want it. That tech, the different trims, it all leads to price. Where does the 2026 Traverse land compared to its rivals?
It starts reasonably competitively, but can climb quickly into premium territory. You're looking at a starting price around $40,800 for the base LT trim.
Okay.
The Sporty RS and the Off-Road Z71 will likely sit in the mid $50,000 range, maybe a bit higher. And that top spec High Country, that can easily push past $57,000, maybe even touch $60K with options.
So quite a range.
Yeah.
And who are the main competitors it's fighting against?
The usual suspects, really. Heavy hitters like the Honda Pilot, Kia Telluride, Hyundai Palisade, Ford Explorer, Toyota Highlander. It's a tough crowd.
Definitely. Okay, now, the reality check.
Yeah.
No vehicle, especially one trying to do so much big, powerful, luxurious, is perfect. Let's talk about the downsides, the critical trade-offs buyers need to be aware of.
Right. And this brings us back to that core strategic decision we mentioned earlier. The biggest question mark for many buyers will likely be fuel economy.
Because
Because there's no hybrid option. That decision to stick with the Turbo 4 means fuel consumption, especially in the city, is going to be higher than some key rivals that do offer hybrid powertrains.
Do we have numbers on that?
The official figures are around 12.3 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 8.7 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway.
Okay, 12.3 in the city. How does that compare, say, against something like a Highlander hybrid?
Well, that's where the difference is stark. Highlander hybrid might get closer to, say, 9 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, maybe even a bit better.
So quite a bit thirstier in stop-and-go traffic.
Significantly thirstier, yeah. For someone doing mostly city driving, running errands, school runs, that difference will mean more frequent trips to the gas station and, well, noticeably higher fuel costs over a year. You're essentially trading that city efficiency for the Traverse's horsepower and torque.
So the new engine boosts power over the old V6, but doesn't really solve the efficiency puzzle without electrification help. What other potential drawbacks did the reviews mention?
There's the familiar critique about interior materials, particularly in the lower trims. While the high country aims high, some reviewers felt certain plastics lower down the range didn't quite match the price point or the overall premium feel Chevy seems to be going for.
Okay, anything else?
And, while that 2.5-liter turbo is powerful on paper, some buyers might just miss the feel of a V6. That smoother, less stressed character of a larger, naturally aspirated engine, it's maybe less tangible, but it's a preference for some.
A character thing. And what about cost, beyond fuel?
Yeah, 2 points there. The starting price, as we said, is a little higher than some direct competitors. And secondly, there's the question of resale value.
How so?
Well, established players like the Honda Pilot and Toyota Highlander have really strong reputations for reliability and holding their value. Sources suggest the Traverse, while good, might not retain its value quite as strongly over the long term. That's something to factor into the total cost of ownership.
Right, definitely important long term. Okay, I think that covers the major points.
So just to kind of wrap it up, the 2026 Chevrolet Traverse emerges as this really massive, very safe, tech-heavy family SUV. The new Turbo 4 engine delivers surprising punch. Its biggest strengths are definitely that class-leading cargo space and the huge digital displays.
Right.
But that power and size come at the cost of city fuel efficiency, mainly because there's no hybrid option. So it really forces a choice. Prioritize maximum utility, power, and tech, or prioritize lower running costs, especially in urban driving.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the new Traverse. Lots to think about. And here's a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Considering how vital maximum interior space and safety are for large families, is the trade-off of higher city fuel consumption a fair price to pay for the Traverse's sheer utility, strong performance, and all that tech, especially when you think about those long family road trips? Something to consider. We hope this breakdown helps you figure out if it's the right fit for you. Until next time on The Deep Dive.